Hey, what's going on YouTube? This your boy King Gabe here, coming at you live once again. And well, I just completed the first issue rough draft for the rough draft for the first issue of Star Striker. Yes, actually, all in here. Gotta, of course, get into my computer, of course, and everything. One thing, of course, before I start to explain about that. I hadn't been doing. This is something I really should have been doing in the previous videos. Whenever I say, you know, the subscribe, like, and buy comics and all that. So, as Spoony say, well, I'm doing it now. Okay, so make sure, and we'll remind you again. Make sure you know, like, subscribe, buy some of the available comics, and also support us on Patreon. These are the comics here. You got 6 issues of Star Striker. Of course, the Star Striker we're about to talk about is Star Striker 2000, which is pretty much another reboot to the series. But I still recommend you get these because in the future I do have planned for I guess you could say sort of like a multiverse thing where the Star Striker from these books I just showed you would meet over with the Star Striker we're about to talk about there, and possibly some other versions of Star Striker, because there is another version of Star Striker in a novel series that I did have published called Heroes of Dreams. However, it's not officially a comic series, but it was, like I mentioned, a novel series that had pictures here and out. And when I got Photoshop, that's when I switched over to making comics. So I probably would not use that version of Star Striker in a multiversal crossover. Also because in that universe, they also had their version of Sword Girl and Bubblina, which of course Sword Girl is Julie Yukoshi, who is in, you know, Yumiko. So and also Bubblina, which is under the rights of my wife Christina. So yeah, kind of would have to go with the multiversal rule, have to go into the comic versions, and possibly there's possibly another one that was actually unpublished, but you'll find out about that probably in a later video or further down the road. Also, we have one issue of Dora, which was written by Lanisa Howard, one of our nursery students. Well, she's in high school now, but me and Christina had the pleasure of looking after her in our church nursery that we went to before we got married there, that we volunteered in. Matter of fact, kind of even looks like the author a little bit there. Real close to her. There's also 2 issues of Brown Chronicles, which you could say Yumiko is sort of a reboot of this series as well. In a way, you could count it as that, except with only 2 issues, and what's in the 2 issues is not really much that happened. Sort of like if you take Sam Raimi's Spider-Man compared to Mark Webb's Spider-Man. Now, both of them did have quite a bit going on. The trilogy of Sam Raimi built up pretty good amount of stuff. Mark Webb, he built up a lot more in the second movie. Maybe he kind of overflooded it there, but it was some stuff going on there. Maybe that's why Andrew Garfield made the comment about not feeling like he was that much compared to Tobey and Tom Holland there, but they was like, no, you're amazing. You're amazing. Like I say, you are amazing. So, yeah, but, you know, if you want to check it out there as well, these 2 are available. And, of course, Bubblina by my lovely wife, Christina. I always like to say that she gets real tickled when I say her name. So yeah, she got four issues currently of her book series, of her comic book series. So eventually there will it will continue to. Bubblina's obviously not getting rebooted; it's continuing. So technically, I'm the one that's in the reboot stage. Like I said, I'm not sure about what Nisha has planned. This kind of depends on what she's decided. Yeah, like I say, you know, gotta. They say it all depends on the authors. So there's that. But yeah, like, subscribe, share with your friends, buy the comics, and support us on Patreon. And now that we've had all of that, let's get down to the telling you about the first rough draft for the first issue of Star Striker 2000. Now, granted, when I do my tour reviews, I probably won't show off these books in those videos. I will still mention, you know, the support and all that. But the videos of my updates on, you know, new comics coming out is probably the ones I would be able to show it, because, you know, I'd be able to show it. I mean, I could show it in the toy review, but it's actually more focused with the toys, though. With the toys pretty much front and center on the screen. So there's that. So anyway, so let's get down to explaining that. One thing to know, Star Trek in 2000, the direction it's going in, and yes, I'm aware that there were some previous videos made on on how it was going to begin and what direction it was going to go in as well earlier on this channel, as well as probably if you're looking at it on the playlist, Star Trek in 2000. Yeah, there were some earlier videos, I will acknowledge that. However, changes have been made once again, and going forward, these changes should be official. One of the changes I could well, let me tell you a little about, for those of you who haven't seen the previous videos. It's taking a lot from back when I wrote Star Striker in 2004. That was when I first came up with the character after watching episodes of Static Shock and getting into that. Even had made, which I don't have it now, but there was an old Star Striker costume I made way back then that I would always put on every time I watched Static Shock. And I even, well, I guess if they watch, if my mom don't watch this video, they'll find out now. But back then, well, back then when I was in school, I actually did wear my costume under my uniform, sort of like Superman does when he's Clark Kent, and, you know, he does the and even Spider-Man did that in the Sam Raimi movies there. So yeah, I did have my... How I was able to get by with that, don't ask. I just did it. I just did it, and apparently it just worked, you know. Yeah, matter of fact, especially when having to change clothes in gym class, because the costume I made, it was a basic t-shirt with a painted star and some sweatpants and a cape. And the cape was attached to the shirt with safety pins. And I actually had that well hidden under my uniform, even with the white, cause we had those uniforms we had was either blue or white shirt. There was sometimes I wore a white shirt and you still could not see that painted star through the white shirt. And when I changed out of gym class, even when I was, you know, amongst the others in the locker room, yeah, I kinda had to make sure nobody was looking, so I would change to my gym shorts and still have the costume hidden under there. How I hid the sweatpants under gym shorts, I just rolled them up really high. So there's a little bit of info for you there, bit of shocking info. You know us as teenagers, all of us as teenagers, we're gonna do some weird things, and technically we all do some weird things in general, whether we're teenagers or not. But yeah, they kind of, you know, it's always said that teens are gonna do that more likely. So that was kind of my weird teen thing there. So yeah, so there was that. And what I wrote back then for Star Striker, a lot of it will be there'll be some references to it in this new 2000 series. Probably some references to the old comic series. Just a little bit, maybe even some other versions of Star Striker that maybe I just wrote smaller bits of, never know. But anyway, that's kind of how it's going to go. One major difference, because what I wrote back in 2004 is really a lot, that's really the main one I'm using a lot of for, kind of shaping the series up. One of the, along with still making it its own thing, Brian, who is Samuel's best friend, aka Star Striker, Brian is started off being sort of really light-skinned or either just kind of mixed, biracial kind of. He was sort of so yeah, I kind of had him like that when I first wrote him, and pretty much in all other versions. But this is going to be the very first time that he's going to be completely white. Because there's a particular friend of mine that I'm kind of basing him off of. Guy used to work with me at Kroger, and he sort of looks similar to Tom Holland a little bit there, which is kind of cool. Also, there was a character in the Star Trek comic books I just showed you that was known as Diva Slay. You can see her on here, one with the pink hair. I know some people who probably have read these comics along with Bubbalina's comics have probably got her mixed up with Bubbalina, even though she's not there. However, one big difference with her, by the way, both her and another character known as Angela are both based off of another friend of mine who passed away, Angela Pierre, God rest her soul. Angela was actually inspired from her. Then when Angela saw the books before she passed, she came up with the idea, and keep in mind she's not really big into superheroes, but she actually liked what I was writing, even though it was a genre that wasn't, really her thing, which was pretty cool. It's kind of cool when someone with interest outside of a particular genre actually take interest in it. It's actually kind of cool on the behalf of the person they're maybe getting it from there. Sort of like with the critic, he's obviously disliking a Pokemon, but he actually had a soft spot for Detective Pikachu in his last review. So anyway, there was but she gave me an idea for the character Monet Chanel Pierre, who becomes Diva Slay. And she didn't really give me a specific way that she would look, other than the fact that she had powers of her magical hair. And first time I designed her, I made her just kind of look pretty much like Angela, which ended up making them look like twins. And she when she saw it, she was like, okay, that's fine. But with this remake of Star Trek 2000, there's a TikToker that's very inspirational on her TikTok page that I actually decided to base Diva Slay off of this time around. And I really believe that if Angela saw this, she would actually be pretty cool with this, because this person is a lot like her in a lot of ways, the way she speaks on TikTok. So this is this would be like a white Diva Slay, just like how Brian is going to be white. So, and at least that kind of balances out the what they call the diversity a little bit. And also Diva Slay would be also Down syndrome, which is another thing about the TikToker that I'm basing it off, because she's always giving people shout outs on TikTok, telling them that they are special, and you don't let people bring you down because of stuff like with Down syndrome or any type of mental issue or autism, anything like that. You are who you are, and you should take pride in that. And that's especially sort of like with the with the races, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, all Japanese, Chinese, all that good stuff, we all, or as Papa Clump would say, we all supposed to be different, big, medium, small, men supposed to have all that. So that's some diversity for you there. So, yep, and so I think that would actually make pretty good with the series there. And when I get to the other rough drafts where you'll see more of these characters in, you'll see how that plays out as I go along, and apparently even I myself, because like I mentioned in Yamiko, you can come up with a lot of good stories there, and I do have a lot of good stories, trust me. But it's the character, but what's more important than the stories are important, but what's even more important is the characters, and that's the main reason why I really like to base them off of different people, because that really pulls out the stories from issue to issue there, following these different characters here. So now let's get to following Star Striker and see how he begins in issue 1, the rough draft title, Strike Like a Star. The first issue of the Star Striker books I showed you down here was the Strike of the Star. This one's going to be Strike Like a Star. A little slight, it's similar, but just a little different in the wording there. Pardon me. As the man's like, pardon me. Yep. So it began. So the rough draft. So the comic will begin 5:30 in the morning. Vortex. And it's very important on that time. You'll know why in a minute. A vortex starts firing streams of lights in different directions. Moments later, Samuel wakes up, realizing that he's floating over downtown Shreveport. And he's like, "Whoa, man, it's kind of cool." Cause I mean, you're floating in the sky. And he tries to fly and starts falling and trying to pull himself back up. And at the very last minute, he grabs a pole between two traffic lights, swings on it, and shoots back up into the sky. And this was kind of a little something that I thought from those of you who watched the Spider-Verse with Miles Morales. Remember when he was when he first got the new costume and was web slinging and stuff like that? The first time he got the spider power, he was falling. But then went towards the end, was like, "What's up, danger? Yeah!" I say, "What's up? Woo!" So Samuel does that. So then he lands on the bank, on the roof of the bank, and starts seeing what all he can do. He doesn't know if it's for real or a dream, but hey, he might as well see what's going on here. And he's really excited about it. He finds out that not only is he able to fly, but he's able to shoot star blasts that can explode. So he's practically holding the stars in his hand. And he can even fire stars that can create smoke screens there, which is pretty useful because, as we all know, stars are technically made of gas, as pointed out by Pumbaa in The Lion King. "I always thought they were balls of gas burning billions of miles away." Pumbaa, with you, everything's gas. Yeah, but Timon and Pumbaa's actually had a good point there because of the science behind the stars. So anyway, after figuring that out, we did introduce the three crooks, Derek, Gilbert, and Zach. And so Samuel, they're robbing the bank, of course. Samuel sees this, and he goes into his pajama pocket and pulls out a mask that he just so happened to have in his pocket and puts it on, and goes down there and pretty much has a bit of a battle with them. say, in order to stop them. Yep. So yeah, they go at each other and everything. There's like, where are you little brat? Show yourself. And of course, it results eventually, because also Samuel has super speed as well. So flight, super speed, and star blast, and also create smoke screens. Yeah, he's pretty much owned these three crooks there. And then he decides to go on home after they're defeated, leaving them for, of course, the police. And granted, he's also managed to make a 911 call, so the police can immediately show up there after they've been knocked out. Smart thinking. So then when we cut over to Samuel's house, where his sister Sheila is preparing breakfast. Their mom is out at the moment, so yeah, Sheila is, at the house. She's a teenager, by the way, so yeah, kind of keeping an eye on Samuel, but she doesn't realize that Samuel's out there, though. She thinks he's still upstairs sleeping there. And as she's cooking breakfast, Tanya Wesley appears on the news there that she's watching, the news reporter. She also revealed that Brian is up there. He spent the night there. So Tanya mentions that in the news that there are four missing children have mysteriously disappeared from their homes in Shreveport, and according to the parents, they've been missing ever since yesterday morning. There's no evidence on who's taken them. Missing children, and also missing children in areas like Texas and Arkansas, and even outside of the USA, in Japan. And these missing children from Shreveport are... But then they get interrupted by Brian saying that Samuel's disappeared, and Sheila is in shock. Now, about these missing children, I'm not going to tell you just yet, but I want you to see if, leave in the comments, see if you can try to figure out who these missing children are that they're talking about. The hint, I'll give you a hint, is from my Yumiko series. Look up the recent videos of my Yumiko rough drafts, where I've been explaining about the recent rough drafts of Yumiko. So it has to do with that. It's kind of which that might have possibly given you the answer. Yeah, you might. Pretty sure I may have given more of the answer than you think, but yeah, if that's the case, yeah, definitely let me know in the comments, and we'll definitely clarify that in the rough draft videos to come for Star Striker. Yeah, it will come up. I'll mention it when we get to where they actually mention who the kids are officially in the comic there. So after that, back in the downtown area where the police arrive, the commissioner is with them, who is Samuel and Sheila's mother, Lee Princeton. And just as they're about to arrest Derek, Gilbert, and Zach, the three of them start mutating. Derek becomes an octopus mutant with tentacles where his hair should be. Yeah, it's kind of, which I think I may have meant, I think in a previous video about the direction of the comic, I think it was mentioned, yeah, he's going to become Octobraid, yes. They don't mention it yet as far as their name, but yeah, issue 2, it will be mentioned, like, okay, we're going to go by Octobraid. Gilbert's going to go by Puma because he's turned into a mutant warthog. Zach is going to go by the name Racker because he turned into a mutant rat there. Also, one thing to know about these villains and who they're based off of, Gilbert and Zach, the warthog and the rat, are obviously, well, maybe not so obvious. I actually based them off of Harry and Marv from Home Alone. Yeah, you gotta do better than this, kid! Don't worry, Harry, I'll get him! Oh, busted me right up the nose! That's one. And yeah, so y'all remember the good antics of the first 2 Home Alone movies. Now, Derek is based off of well, let's just say a former partner of mine that I used to work with that apparently kind of pulled the Judas on me last year. So yeah, kind of backstabbed me there. Over. So yeah, it was quite a bit that went on with that. So we're just gonna leave it with that. And you know how we give that look like my mom would give us when we doing something we ain't supposed to be doing. Yeah, no that look mean business when your parents give you that, especially if you growing up with me. Yeah, no. Come here. Yeah, you bet. And if you don't come right away, you're gonna be in even more trouble. So anyway, turns out Samuel ends up getting teleported to a secret space base, and it's called the Wonder Spear. And who's in this Wonder Spear, you ask? It's Ultra Cat. These one of the comic book characters from IT Comics, which is a comic series that they read in the universe here in Star Striker 2000/Yumiko, since they're both going to be in the same universe. Pretty much like their DC Comics at the moment. So Ultra Cat is pretty much based off of Superman, and the person that I imagine him sounding as is Will Smith. So imagine Will Smith as a cat version of Superman. Yeah, Mister, say, what's your name? Whatever, what would your pleasure be? Let me take your order and I jot it down. You ain't never had a friend like me. Had to get that out there. So, welcome to the Wonder Spear. And Samuel is in pretty big fan-struck shock there. It's all fanboy and everything. Like, oh my god, I can't believe you're here! So, Ultra Cat tells him, I got a message on, got 2 messages on TikTok. Have to check those out a little bit later. So, Ultra Cat tells him that there's a bit of a situation that they need his help with. Samuel assumes that it has something to do with the bank robbers, and it kind of does. He shows them that what happened with them and that they mutated after Samuel left and the police showed up. So Samuel quickly figures, okay, well, I guess if I defeated them before, I'll just go down there and defeat them again. But he also realized that he's gonna need a costume this time around instead of fighting his PJs, of course. Ultra Cat then says for him to follow him. We then cut over to the house of Angela and Monet, of Angela and her sister Monet Chanel Pierre. Now, to clear this up, some of you might wonder, well, wait a minute, if you're gonna make Monet white, how is she gonna be the sister of Angela? Well, the answer is Monet is her adoptive sister. So that clears that up there. And they so happen to be, and they're actually watching the news right there at the news station. It will be explained why that is in some later issues. There's something going on with that. Tanya has a further explanation of Tanya exposites more about another child reported missing, which is obviously Samuel, seeing as how Sheila has probably called the police about trying to find out where Samuel is and everything. They say hopefully we'll be able to find out more information along with the other missing children. Angela decides that her and her sister Monet need to go investigate this. But Monet notices something and tells her to hold up a second, as the helicopter cam is now bringing footage of the fight about to go down here in the downtown area, where after Gilbert and Zach and Derek's mutation. Samuel then shows up in full costume as Star Striker, the Shreveport defender that strikes like a star. He'll defend this city day and night to keep it safe from the likes of evil like these 3. And and upon saying his quote, and this is how he actually says the exact quote. Let's just say I'm not your ordinary kid. Call me Star Striker because I strike like a star. Here in Shreveport, born and raised, I will defend this city day and night and keep it safe from the likes of you. Derek, Gilbert, and Zach hear this little speech of his, and kind of like Monty from Stuart Little, a cat with a pet mouse. A mouse with a pet cat. So they all start laughing at Star Striker. Like, oh my gosh, Star Striker, what a ridiculous name! I'm so scared. I'm terrified and shaking in fear. And Derek, of course, has this little joke to say since, like I say, the person I'm basing him off of, former partner of mine, was also a YouTube critic. So yeah, this would pretty much be what a YouTube critic would probably say. Is a Star Striker. That sounds like a rip-off of Star Search. So, and if you're wondering about the joke, a rip-off of Star Search, seeing how both Star Striker 2000 and Yumiko both take place, they starts off 1999 leading into the 2000 era. Star Search was a show that came on back then. Actually, it's been around longer than I thought. Been around since the 1980s, but I didn't notice it until I got in high school, which was early 2000, of course. So yeah, it was something that had been around, and obviously around this time, pretty much like another American Idol type of show. Yeah, so as they continue laughing, Star Striker quickly, after they say what they gotta say, sort of like Batman waiting for the Condiment King to finish his little puns and stuff before he punches him. Oh, Batman, I'm afraid you won't be able to cut the mustard. Let me catch up to you. I hope you relish the challenge. Man, so I'm just gonna let you finish your little speech. He's watching him as he went around. Then when Condiment King got ready to take a strike, ow! So after they said their line, they said what they said. Star quickly fires a Star Blast, sending the three into the sky. Then, using his star speed, he quickly kicks Racker, punches Pumo, sending them both down to the ground, and grabs Octobraid by his tentacles, swinging him around a while, and then also toward the ground, landing on Gilbert and Racker. So let's see, pretty much almost kind of make me think of the can't think what the guy name was, the robot that always made the other robots grow in Power Rangers Zeo, when he with that little mini robot, like, around and away we go. Here you go. We like that there. Then Star Striker says, after landing in front of them, since you three want to criticize me. Sort of another shot at the whole thing of YouTube critics in general, because like I said, I'm not saying all of them, but you know how some of us do have some disagreements with some of the things they say, just the natural part of things. That's kind of the thing on YouTube in general, Oh, no, it's like this. No, it's not like that. It's like this. No, it is like this. You don't know what you're talking about. So he says, if you want to criticize me, here's a couple of criticisms for you. Number one, never underestimate your opponent. And number two, a kid always wins against a bunch of knucklehead bozos like you guys. So another Home Alone reference when he's like, don't you know a kid always wins against two idiots? Get him! So they get up. Okay. He's like, and Star Trek, of course, tells the police to clear the area before things, before things get a little ugly, because he figures that, they're probably that these three are probably gonna get pissed and really, wow, that was perfect timing. that was perfect timing. Yeah. So if you heard that sound, that the point I'm about to make is things are about to get ugly. How does he do it? I don't know. I honestly did not plan that. Convenient, isn't it? How convenient. So all the police clear the area, especially, of course, one of the police are like, wait a second, kid. But Commissioner Lisa's like, no, do it. It's like, clear the area. I was like, but Commissioner, I said clear the perimeter now. Yep. That's just it. And remember I mentioned Commissioner Lisa is the mother of Samuel and Shelia. Star Striker is secretly Samuel Princeton. So you probably can figure that Mama probably knows that's Samuel under that mask. Yeah. Others don't figure it out, but yeah, Mama always knows. Yeah, it won't be now. Of course, it'll be stated later that she'll, she figured that out. But you probably already know just from when I said that was their mom. Probably figured, yeah, she's gonna find out. Yes, I ain't even gonna try to suspense on there. Yup, that's something that's kind of out there in the open, pretty much like Aunt May in the MCU. I ain't gonna say what she said though, cause I want to keep this family friendly. So anywho, Gilbert. So then they all get us like, so you want to play Mr. Heroic Crime Fighter, huh? Like, playtime's over for you guys. All right, Yami Yugi, playtime is over. Ooh, he means business. So he does. So of course it's like, well, if that's the case, and it's time to settle the score with some major payback. Because I have a feeling that you're that same kid we faced last night. And we end on a cliffhanger. Of course, pretty obvious what's going to carry over to issue 2. They're going to have their big battle and everything. At some point, the mom's going to reveal to the characters that, yeah, I know you're Star Striker, boy. I know you're Star Striker, son. Pretty much, yeah. So that's pretty much what we got for the issue 1 rough draft. And also, as I stated before I even got into that, a little bit about some Star Striker history and kind of a little bit where this is probably going to go there. Well, at least a little bit into the character changes. A little bit of where, like I said, I plan the series to go. I mentioned about the multiverse, multiple Star Strikers, which would also reveal an evil Star Striker. Oh yeah. There's also gonna be some even more dangerous villains, of course. Yeah, these 3 aren't the only ones, obviously. So there's gonna be more of them, especially some really big time major hitters there. That'll be coming up, Star Trek got to take on, as well as also the whole thing of this missing children's thing, which, like I say, when we get into the when I get the other rough drafts and next videos where I explain like number 2 and 3 and so on, you will eventually. I'm not gonna say which one is gonna be yet. I gotta find out for myself as I'm writing this. Wow, I guess it is possible for skin tone to be different in 2 different areas of your body. Because my hands are lighter than my face. It's the lighting. Anyway, I didn't mean for that distraction, but yeah, a lot of that coming up. The whole thing of the whole missing children thing, Star Strikers Miffa, other heroes like Target, of course, his partner. Yeah, I kind of spoiled that there. Well, might as well. I spoiled Diva Slay, so. Yeah, and that was the thing in the other Star Trek comic that I made here. I didn't get to introduce Target, but I ended up bringing up Diva Slay real quick. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty different. And also also an improvement with the writing as well. So especially as the series goes on. I mean, we just got started, so yeah, series goes on. Yeah, it'll be it'll get a lot better. You know, you have more depth with the characters and stuff like that. It's pretty much kind of, the opening kind of remind me of the first episode of Power Rangers. You know how they you got a little bit about them. They immediately got the villain, Zordon. Yeah, we need Power Rangers and Megazords to fight Rita Repulsa. It's morphin' time. We need the Megazord, and pretty much just kind of went through boing 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 boing. Pretty much get you into the show, which we did. And then after that, we got to know our heroes and all that and everything. So yeah, it worked. Yeah, it's a working formula. So hopefully you liked all that there. Do make sure, remind you once again, like, subscribe, share with your friends, buy available comics that I just showed you at the beginning of the video. And also, don't forget to support us on Patreon. Yes, definitely support us on Patreon, even if it's just a little $1 a month. We will still very much appreciate that. So hop up, so do that. And we will see you in our next video. Also, we do have planned for a Royal Talk. Yeah, the special Valentine. Yeah, we will have that. Should be up by Valentine's Day. Might possibly be a day before, but I do know for a fact it'll be before Valentine's Day gets here. Yeah, you will be able to enjoy it on the 14th. So we will have that and more videos to come. Until then, see you later.